So when I was a kid, my understanding was wherever you were born, you were officially from there. You get a passport and a citizenship, and from that point on, you ride or die, sometimes literally. So I was born in America and thus became an American. If I were born in Canada, I would be a Canadian. And if I were born in Japan, I'd be Japanese. Oh, wait a second, no I wouldn't. I'd still be American. That's a relief, the hat was making me look like a racist. But how can I be denied citizenship in a country that I'm born in? Actually, what if I'm not born in a country at all? Like international waters, or space, where I spend most of my time. Could I be born without a nationality? Is that a thing? Well, firstly, there are legitimately people with no nationality, although you typically lose it as an adult, often because your government hates you, or doesn't exist anymore, or depending on the country, you're able to willingly renounce it. And if it's the only one you have, well, was the only one you had, you become something called stateless, which legally means you give up your responsibilities to your country in exchange for losing your legal protections there. Well, I was never under any legal protections. Legal protections for the rich, maybe? No, you stupid... You know what, go for it. I mean, to be fair, it's a little hard to explain why it's so bad. Even websites dedicated to explaining the problem are kind of vague about it because it touches on like everything even vaguely official. Like you can't get a job, you can't own a home, you can't get married. I mean, neither can most 20-year-olds, but you know, like the hope is there. Well, I guess no matter what, you're gonna lose your passport, which means you can't leave the country anymore. Yeah, you really showed those fascists. But exactly what that means for you is gonna depend on the... Okay, listen, I had to say this so many times in the first draft, I'm just putting it all up front, okay? Focus, this is important. Ultimately, the laws for citizenship of a country are decided by that country alone, including how you get it and what having that means for you. Basically, everything I say could start with depending on the country. For example, depending on the country, there's technically a difference between citizenship and nationality, but explaining the difference for each one would mostly just be a burden on you, but more importantly me. So they're going to mean the same thing in this household, kosher? I don't care. But anyway, my question isn't if you can lose your nationality, but can you be born without it? Well, let's get started. How are babies born?
Hello, I'm Luigi, and I'm here today to tell you all about puberty and its many effects. Puberty is...
So like I thought, countries like Brazil, Canada, and the United States give citizenship to anyone born in their borders. So you'd think the easiest way to break the system is to be born in international waters, since no one owns it. Surprisingly, no. It's pretty hard. It's a rare enough thing that it's often handled on a case-by-case basis, so there's really no satisfying answer I can give on this. Because of all this, I'm going to rule that method out for this video. That might be a bit of a bad decision, but that's a problem for future me, and after the allegations, I don't trust that guy. Thankfully, that doesn't matter, because typically it's actually impossible anyway, because I was wrong. Most of the time, it doesn't matter where you're born at all. Yeah, usually nationality is actually inherited from your parents, which is a method followed in countries like France, India, or the United States again. Ugh, I told you. Yeah, you can follow both ways at once. Nothing's stopping you. I guess America does that? That's pretty generous. Boy, am I lucky with that extra layer of security I get from being born in the country with the IRS. So, all these countries get to pass on their nationality to their ungrateful little offspring no matter where they are, so I care if it's in the middle of nowhere. If you get your nationality through where you're born, that's called the right of soil, and if you get it through your parents, it's called the right of blood. They usually go by Latin names too, but I'm not going to use them, and no, it's not because I'm Romophobic or anything. I mean, yes, I may have tweeted that Romans are lazy and can't do work, but I'm right, they're dead! But yeah, I need them to set up a joke later, so please memorize these, thank you. Oh, and speaking of Rome, I should mention that the Vatican is actually an exception and doesn't follow either rule. I mean, the whole country is basically a really expensive office building, so you only get citizenship when you get a job there. If you're born there, somehow, they just make you Italy's problem instead. It might have been God's will, but it certainly ain't theirs. That one exception aside, for nearly 200 countries, it's a little surprising we can fit all their nationality laws into just 2 categories, but don't worry, there's tons of complications. For example, if you get your country from your parent, which parent? You'd assume either would do, but some places only let the father pass it down. You might be wondering where, I don't know, could be anywhere. Could be anywhere. On top of that, like I said, nothing's stopping you from using both rules at once. Both Australia and America do, for example, but even then, they're in very different ways. While America will let you in with one or the other, Australia needs both for you to become a citizen. The stingy cunt. Typically, the 2 rights can stack with each other, which is why dual citizenships are a thing. But maybe it can work the other way. Like, if you're born somewhere that doesn't follow the right of soil, and your parents are from somewhere that doesn't follow the right of blood, theoretically you should be born stateless? That sounds pretty bad. Is that possible? Uh-oh. Brazil doesn't follow the right of blood, and Bulgaria doesn't follow the right of soil, so all that's left for any kid born using that combo is what we'll call the right of the sun, because they'd be SOL. That was the joke, by the way. Did it work? Comment down below why is it Bulgarian? Are you sure you're a Brazilian? Here, quick, try solving this CAPTCHA. No, I know I did this right. What? The UN did something. Okay. Wait, you're serious? 1961, the year, the first tie in MLB history occurs, and the UN is signing a treaty on preventing statelessness. Coming from a time when territory was changing hands rather abruptly, they got straight to work solving the problem 20 years later, with the reveal of the 1961 UN Convention on the Reduction of Statelessness for $80. It is long and boring, and they use British spelling, and I am a racist, I was lying. But more importantly, it put up a final safety net for anyone who could be born stateless. It handles situations where nationality laws may conflict, or you don't know who the parents are, or you're born on a ship, with the solution typically being forcing nations to follow the right of the soil just for this one time, based on the higher right of, I guess, finders keepers. Most places have yet to sign it, including the US, but we already follow the right of the soil, so it doesn't really matter. Not to mention a country could theoretically add these safety rails to their national laws directly if they think it was a good idea, but don't feel like being told what to do. This video isn't comprehensive on the topic, by the way, not even close. This is just one way it could happen. I just don't have time to cover things like children of refugees, countries of disputed recognition, only granting citizenship to people of a certain ethnic group, just not being able to get proof of who you are, and I don't know, probably some other thing. So, can you be born stateless? Yes. Is it a problem? Yes. Is it common? No. Will you do anything about it? No. I'm sorry, that was a little presumptuous of me. I'll let you decide first. Okay, no.